We're celebrating the end of Caribbean American Heritage Month here in the wonderful city of Miramar. Now, you know, we're a very diverse community. And just like the Caribbean, we're either English speaking, French, Dutch, or Spanish speaking. And we all live together and we all share our culture with each other. And we can do that this evening. As Caribbean Americans, we have much to be proud of. Through the influential Caribbean Americans who have played pivotal roles in the history of the United States. Some individuals, such as John Baptiste Point de Sable, the pioneer settler of Chicago. You have Claude McKay, a poet of the Harlem Renaissance. James Weldon Johnson, the writer of the Black National Anthem. Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American congresswoman and the first African-American woman candidate for president. Celia Cruz, the world-renowned queen of salsa music. Colin Powell, the first African-American Secretary of State. Sidney Poitier, the first African-American actor to receive the Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Harry Belafonte, a musician, actor, and activist. Roberto Clemente, the first Latino inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And our own Al Roker, the NBC Today Show meteorologist and television personality. Now amongst us, we have our own heroes from the Caribbean diaspora. I want to honor them this evening. You've seen here the scrolls of the folks who will be honored tonight for their work in the Caribbean diaspora. They hail from various countries of the Caribbean. And you know, I was always told, I grew up in Jamaica, and one of the things they would say is that, you know, I want my roses before I die. You know, don't give me, you can give me them when I die, but I won't know that you're giving them to me. And so the idea is to recognize those among us who in their various fields from the Caribbean diaspora are doing exceptionally well. And today we celebrate them. As you know, Miramar is a melting pot of people from all over the diaspora, and we welcome everyone to visit or move to Miramar. We have lovely homes. Please come to Miramar. Please call us home. We have many amenities here in our city. Our Parks and Recreation Department is one of the best in the county, with our well-maintained parks and great festivals. Our Social Services Department helps families from preschool to the elderly, and our Culture Center hosts a season full of theater and family shows, as well as monthly art exhibits.
You know, as a first-generation American of Jamaican heritage, you know, we all, whether we're from whichever island of the Caribbean, we all share so much in common. You know, and as we observe this country's Independence Day on July 4th, when we as a nation of so many people, from so many nations, so many backgrounds, can live in harmony, can live in peace. That just speaks to the potential of this nation. Yet not perfect, but the potential of this nation resides especially right here in Miramar. When you have so many individuals who come together, who live as neighbors, as business associates, as friends, as colleagues, we have so much to be proud of. But we have so much more to achieve, and there's even greater things to come in the city of Miramar. and we look forward to sharing that with you. So congratulations to all the award recipients, and we love you here in Miramar, and just as Vice Mayor said, we definitely would love for you to make Miramar your home if it's not your home. So good night and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Mr. Roberts has over 30 years' experience in special and large event coordination, including venue operations and management promotions and contract negotiations. A major international promoter of Caribbean cultural performances and exhibitions. He is a sought-after consultant in special events planning. He is the co-founder and chairman of Jamaican Jerk Festival USA, Inc., promoters of the premier jerk festivals in North America. He is currently the vice chair of the board of Miami Carnival, Inc., and vice chairman of the Miami Broward One Carnival Host Committee on one of the largest Caribbean events in South Florida. In 2012, he also served as the co-chairperson of the Jamaica 50th Celebration Committee for the Jamaican Consulate in Miami.
This is very special. When you work, and you work for the love of the work, it's always good to be recognized. Thank you very much.
Vernon L. Brooks, who hails from the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. Being the first in his immediate family to attend college, Vernon was excited, so he packed his bags, left the Virgin Islands, and headed to Florida. While trying to adjust to his new environment, he was always willing to promote his culture and let everyone know the lifestyle in the islands. The art of stilt dancing was something that Vernon showed much interest in from his childhood. When the mucker jumpers will come down the parade route dressed in a mask, putting fear in both adults and kids' hearts. He then took it upon himself to construct his own pair of stilts and would attempt to get on them with several attempts, leaving him flat on his back. But with nothing would deter him, and he would eventually find his balance. While in college, Vernon connected with a childhood friend who was also into stilt dancing. And this is where he received better training, which would then help him master the art of stilt dancing. In 1993, the U.S. Virgin Islands Mucker-Jumbie Stilt Dancers was formed. Their mission was to develop and teach kids from an early age the art of stilt dancing. Over the years, the group has been fortunate to have traveled all around the world, showcasing their very unique and exciting talent. Have you seen those stilt dancers?
Oh, yeah.
They're excellent. And so today we want to honor Vernon for his work in that area. Let's give Vernon a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I must first of all say thanks to the Almighty Father for blessing me with the good health over the years to be able to make such an impact in so many kids' life. And I must thank my family, my wife especially, for just sharing the family time with my organization, because it was a run many years ago. These kids were young, and we would actually, every weekend, would actually load up the 15-passenger van and travel as far from Georgia all the way down to the Keys, actually doing shows every weekend. And this is something that I did for over 20 years with the kids. And today the kids are grown. Some of them are here. I have a few of them in the back. The kids are grown, and the art has developed into something, not something different, but it's more commercialized today. But still today we promote it as though it was the first day. So I want to also thank the City of Miramar for recognizing us for what we did over the years throughout the state of Florida. Thank you, guys.
In 1979, Tyrone migrated to Pembroke Pines, the other city, where he attended Pines Middle School. It was during this period that Tyrone encountered diversity, both from being placed in a different society and having to interact with individuals from diverse backgrounds. This evidence would start to forge Tyrone's character. Upon completion of middle school, Tyrone returned to Kingston, Jamaica, where he attended Wilma's Boys High School. Give it up for Wilma's, that's my alma mater. Through his education and experience gained from previous endeavors came the foundation for his most recent ventures, First Fridays of Florida LLC, a forum of urban professionals to network and socialize on the first Friday of every month. This production has grown to become one of South Florida's premier monthly parties and network events. Let's give it up for Tyrone Robertson.
The City of Miramar, ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, thank you so much. Much appreciated, and I promise I will continue to work on these endeavors and make you all and keep you all entertained. Thank you.
Congresswoman Wilson was born Frederica Smith in Miami. Her maternal grandparents were Bahamian. She earned her Bachelor of Arts degree from Fisk University and her Master's of Arts degree from the University of Miami. She also served as the principal of Skyway Elementary School in Miami, as well as being a Miami-Dade School Board member from 1992 through 1998. Congresswoman Wilson's signature issue is education. She founded the 5,000 Role Models program, which seeks to bring down dropout rates among Black boys. As everyone knows, Congresswoman Wilson is an avid wearer of hats. She has a large collection that includes hundreds of hats of all different varieties. She wears one every day to honor her late grandmother. Let's give it up for Congresswoman.
I want to say this is quite an honor. It's wonderful to be among fellow members of the Caribbean, people who have come to this country and made it great, people who came with nothing in many instances and have put their shoulders to the ground and have made America great. We're working on an immigration bill in the U.S. Congress now, and we're hoping to be able to include family reunification, which will reach out to so many of our people, because it's really something that I've discussed with the president. He agrees with it, and you see what has happened now with all of the little children whose parents believe that if they come to the United States, they will get automatic citizenship. So that has put a hold on what we were trying to do with family reunification. But thank you for this honor. It's a pleasure to be here with my fellow Caribbean people. We all have our cultures. I like pigeon peas and rice and corn and fried fish and stew cook, steamed cook, you name it. I love it all. I'm a cook girl, so thank you so much.
Wayne has been a City of Miramar resident for more than 12 years since moving from Toronto, Canada in 2002. Wayne has been very active in the community with numerous activities. His passion for cricket transcends into mentoring, tutoring, coaching, and developing our youth into productive and successful adults. Since being certified as a cricket coach by the West Indies Cricket Board and International Cricket Council in 2004, his labor of love begins with his founding of the Florida Cricket Academy, a youth development organization based at the city's Anson Park Cricket Facility. Let's give it up for Wayne Lambert.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. I'd like to thank my patient wife who I think after 25 years of marriage now, she's, it's okay for me to go out on a Sunday. It's good to see Commissioner Holness here, cricket fan. We lost today, test match. It goes that way. But thank you all very much, and hope to see you all. But thank you very much for the act.
Thank you. Alejandro's life has been rather unique. He was hired to manage a multi-million construction project in the Middle East. So he moved there for over 2 years to complete it. After finishing his projects in the Middle East, Alejandro returned to the United States and was then contracted as Director of Sales for all Latin America for a Fortune 500 manufacturing company. Alejandro Casas has been very involved in the community, having served on the Economic Development Advisory Board as the chairperson for 2 years, also on the City Manager's Budget Task Force. Alex is also very much involved in the PAL, Police Athletic League, and served for 3 years as a basketball coach. He remains committed to giving back to the community and to help whenever possible. And as such, he's very active in various local civic and professional organizations. Let's give it up for Alex Casas.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to be among so many friends that I've met for so many years. I moved to Miramar about 11 years ago, and I said, this is the place. I like it. I'm going to see what I can do to work with it and help it. And many of you, we have worked together in many things, and I'm very proud to be a citizen and a resident of Miramar and be all amongst many friends out here. So thank you very much for everything.
After coming to America and fulfilling the American dream, Tony bought his restaurant. Now, my pronunciation may not be correct, but it's La Cocina Puertoricana. Delighted with his restaurant, his ultimate dream was to work in his profession with computers. Luckily, he's now fulfilling that dream with his printing company called Tony Global Printing Enterprises. Tony says he would like to be an example not only to his fellow business owners, but also to the entrepreneurs that want to start a business in their own communities. Let's give it up for Tony Sanchez.
It's an honor to receive the award for City of Miramar. Thank you.
In 2012, Magali was selected as an honoree of the Broward County Commission on the Status of Women, and in 2013 she was selected to serve as a board member of the Economic Development Advisory Board for the City of Miramar. For the past 4 years, Magali has organized and collaborated with the City of Miramar, the annual Haitian Heritage and Cultural Celebration, and has also advocated for Broward County to finally recognize May as Haitian Heritage and Cultural Month. Let's give it up for Magali.
I'm both honored and grateful for receiving this award. A lot of times you do work because you know it needs to be done, and that's what you care about, and that's what's in your heart. So I just want to first thank God for giving me the life and the breath to do this. And when I opened the agency in Miramar, it's because I've been here since 1985. And I wanted to make sure that none of our families got left behind in the city of Miramar when they needed services. So I'm really emotional and grateful. And I see Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, who cut our ribbon actually when we opened it in Miramar. So thank you so much.
Al came to Miami in August of 1974, where he worked in an upholstery shop making upholstery frames. He left there and worked for the City of Miami Solid Waste. He started a family business in Miramar, a West Indian grocery store. If a person asked for something and Errol didn't have it, he would try to get it. He says that was a big part of his business success. As the business grew, additional services were demanded, like money transfers, phone credit, as well as selling empty barrels for people to ship things back home to their families. Errol says the word on the street is anything you cannot find, go to Sam's, which are his daughter's initials, Cheryl Antoinette Morrison. Oh, I never knew that. That's a nice fact. That's the name of his store. So let's give it up for Sam Errol Morrison.
I'd like to thank Almighty God first. And I'd like to thank the community of Miramar and surrounding area, because they are the ones who supported me over the years. Thank you very much.
All right.
Gerling's passion is to empower others to succeed. This radio personality has always created two other weekly shows on a Saturday on 1580 AM. The Youth Talk Show and Wow Diaspora, Haitian American Voice. Both are designed for youth and parents of all cultures and national origins. Ms. Berry's passion for community development led her to establish Positive Impact Foundation, Inc., a human and educational service corporation designed to address the pertinent needs of immigrants in South Florida. The agency offers various outlets for citizenship training, family development and empowerment, case management, direct-indirect involvement in providing assistance to individuals and institutions in Haiti and elsewhere. The organization's motto, be the change you want to see. Let's give it up for Gerling Beck.
I want to thank God for allowing me to be on the air for close to 9 years now. And being a Haitian Caribbean woman on the radio is not easy, but so far we're still doing it. And on Saturday, Commissioner Davis was my guest on Cause Femme, and Cause Femme means women's issues. And Commissioner Davis has said it's a Jamaican thing here. I thought it was a women thing. That's true. Well, thank you very much, and I am a proud resident of Miramar, and I know it's a lot of work that needs to be done, and Commissioner Davis, need your support, and please continue supporting each other. We are all part of the Caribbean, and we can put our heads together so that we can accomplish great things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Davis. And let's give a round of applause, please, to all of our honorees this evening. We're so happy that you all are here this evening, and one of the reasons, besides honoring all of the people that we have tonight, we also have the Migration of the Sign, which is our art exhibit that is out in the Anson Family Art Gallery. And to tell us a little bit about that this evening, I know I saw the curator, Babacar and Bo. Babacar, where are you? Come on up.
I made it a point that every year I will set up an exhibition of Caribbean at Miramar, way when we had a small city hall in what we call the old Miramar. You know, old is good, so, you know, across university. But it's always a pleasure to come back, because this city is very important, not only to its citizens, but I believe not only to Broward County, but to South Florida, and indeed at the international level. Because those of us who are in the business of researching and writing about the movement of people, that's what I do. I study migration. Miramar offers very important clue as to what a city of a 21st century can look like. That is, the Vice Mayor was talking about the Jamaican pageant yesterday, the winner. She was my candidate too. But what she said was very important, and she said it in a Jamaican patois that will remind you of Miss Lou. But what she was saying was that every one of you sitting out here, you have a little bit of French, a little bit of Irish, a little bit of African, a little bit of Lebanese, a little bit of Caribbean. So that really is the Caribbean. So if the 21st century is going to be about multiple identity, then which are the countries that are best placed to symbolize that? Last year, I was invited in Japan for the dance hall competition. National Dance Hall Competition of Japan. Yeah, you may be laughing, but Japan is the second largest, actually the world's largest public for dance hall. Right? So they have these, the University of Tokyo actually organized a symposium on dance hall. But why is it these young Japanese, 16 to 22, are not really plugged in the Americans, the French, or the British? Why is it that they are plugging into dance hall? I mean, as a scholar, that interested me. So I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why the young Germans are locking themselves. But if you look at it, at the end of the day, what Jamaica offered them was the possibility to construct an identity, a new identity, which allows them to see themselves as part of the honorable community. And this is why, that because of Nazism and Hitler, young German cannot really claim that pass as their ticket to their sitting at the table of civilization. Similarly too, the Japanese, with the act at Pearl Harbor, in itself, as we're moving toward July 4th. So they had to look at an alternative cultural identity. And what reggae offered and Rastafari offered to the young German, what dance hall offered to the Japanese youth, is a culture of resistance and of creativity. For the past 8 years, I've been organizing this art exhibition, and I run a museum. I'm the director of one of the 3 top museums in the state of Florida. And people always ask me, but why is it that you run a museum and you're always doing Black History Month and Caribbean History Month? And I said, it's simple. And you are just a migrant. How long you've been in the United States to be committed to this? I say, since 400 years. Because perhaps I'm among the few people who can trace where his grandmother was sold in the United States. And my grandmother was sold in St. Augustine, Florida, in the plantation called the Kingsley Plantation. And I can also connect myself to Jamaica, to Oriente in Cuba, to Cap Haitian in Haiti. All what unites the Caribbean is the creativity, the capacity to imagine. This is why Caribbean art, whether it's from Haiti, from Cuba, from Dominican Republic, is such a powerhouse in international art. Now, mindful that just like African American art, it has always been seen as something of the province of the mainstream art. So that when you look at the political level, are the political leaders that have the understanding of the importance of art and culture in their own policy to raise their citizens to a better future. Because at the end of the day, that is the measure of a political leader. How can he or she raise its constituency to a better future? History will show you these greatest political leaders have also been great supporters of art and culture. This is why, if you go to Washington, you have the Kennedy Center. It is the importance of people's imagination. Art and culture is the imagination of a people. So, why do we have these artworks we put in here for your enjoyment? It's because artists, among all the humans, are the closest to God. May the pastors and the priests excuse me. Because they are the only ones that are colleagues of the Lord, because just as the Lord, they are engaged in the same business, creation. Thank you, sir. So when we get our artists around us, we know we got God, the gods. I'm from Africa, we have many gods. So the gods are among us. Tonight, we brought you 3 artists that are very important within the context of Jamaica and what I was saying earlier. One is with us, Jerry Craig. Jerry, can you stand, please? The other one is Cecil Cooper. He is in Kingston. I spoke to him 5 minutes before starting. And the third one is Kofi Kaiga, who is the only Jamaican professor of art emeritus at the University of Massachusetts Department of Fine Arts. So why these 3 people? I brought them in one exhibition for Caribbean Heritage Month. Last year we did Latin American artists for Caribbean. But because each of them has shaped in their own way Edna Manley School of Art in Kingston. Jerry Craig, before Cecil Cooper, was the director of the Department of Fine Art of the Edna Manley School of Art, the University of West Indies, Mona campus. Cecil Cooper just retired 2 years ago from the same post. The 8th elder is Kofi Kaiga, who is still teaching young Americans at one of the most prestigious universities in the United States. What put them together, linked them together, is where they're from. Not Jamaica, Edna Manley School of Art. But then, what is important is when we move from our countries of origin, what do we take with us? And people think that we're talking about material things, the suitcase, you know. I'm doing a project to call What Did They Bring When They Came, where I'm asking everybody, when you came to the United States, give me one item you came with, no matter how long you're here. And I'm very excited about that project. But what do we come with besides the material things? And that is the title of the show, Migration of the Sign. How do we flip from Queen's English to Patois within the Jamaican society? and how sometimes the patois sip through the board in the boardroom, right, depending on the circumstances. Because the sign, that is like the Africans' scarification, when the Africans cut themselves, and you see those markings. The science is the manifestation of our humanities. That is, in the plantation, everything in the plantation makes you believe, was designed to make you believe that you are not human. Yet today, if you never came to the United States, chances are 89.99%, I mean 90% of what you know in the United States is from black culture. If you like the sport, football, you know that. NBA, we don't talk about it. The only classical music the United States have contributed to world music at the classical level is jazz. Yes. So if you never came to the United States, changes are everything you know in culture is African American. So American culture is African American culture. So it is important, therefore, that the artists be given their place in society. It is important that at the level of the policy making, art and artists be given their place and the support that they deserve, because they're the one who will imagine the future before you can dig it. So this is what Miramar is about. That is the place where imagination for the future. It's the place of, it's a lab of the city of the 21st century. This is not the 21st century, 2014. The 21st century really will begin in 2020. That is why every country has a program, 2020. Even the United Nations has a plan, 2020, where they're going to eradicate poverty. You can believe that. But what the city offers us is the possibility to contribute, particularly citizens of this city. With the leadership, you can imagine a future that can be proposed as a model for a 21st century South Florida city. So that when you have a leadership that focuses like a laser beam on art and culture, the 21st century is not going to be a century of manufacturing. The 21st century is not going to be a century of war and weapons. The 21st century is a century of imagination. It's going to be about creativity and brain power. Cities are going to rise to become international hubs only because they can make their mark through their arts and their culture. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Support the art.
Oftentimes we have these events and we call them Caribbean events. But we leave out the Haitians and we leave out the Cubans and the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans. Tonight it's different. It's everybody. Yes. So kudos to you, Commissioner Davis, and to the City of Miramar for having an event such as this. But I want to tell you also that the Caribbean coast, the Caribbean Sea goes beyond the islands. If you go to people in Barranquilla, in Cartagena, in parts of Nicaragua and elsewhere, you'll find that they'll tell you that they are people of the Caribbean. They are Caribbean people also. So let's look to see how we expand that. Because the culture is the same, the history is the same, and our foods and music are very close. And we enjoy each other, so that's a great thing. Now Next year, Broward County will celebrate its centennial. 100 years as a county. And the celebration is being led by our cultural department. I know that Professor Babakar and Ba would love that.
Yes.
So that is what we're doing. And here's the theme. It's a celebration of our cultural diversity. It's bringing everybody together because that's important. And that's something that I tell you I insisted on making sure that we do. Because one of the things I believe, and it's for many years of my life that I believe this, that the greatest strength that this nation has is the strength of the diversity of its people. We have been able to get people from all around the world to bring the best ideas, the finest cultures, the greatest experience into this melting pot to make us the greatest nation on earth. So as we go forward celebrating this great diversity, I want you to be engaging. Our cultural department, if you are in the arts and cultural business, we want you there. And also, there's an event that I've been pushing for a few years, and that is Florida's International Trade and Cultural Expo.
Yes, yes, yes,
I was in Colombia twice in the past year and a half, and what I found there and many other places, people don't just want to you sell them something or sell you something. They want to get to know you. They want to enjoy knowing who you are first in many of these countries. We Americans are used to, well, you know, it's the best quality, it's the best price, you got to buy it. They want to drink a cup of coffee, sit down and have a meal. Go out to an event. And this is what this event is intended to do. It's to ensure that the great diversity that exists here in South Florida is brought to bear to bring culture and business together. Babakar is right. What will define most metropolitan areas in the future, and even nations, will be what they celebrate in terms of the brain power, in terms of the culture, in terms of, and you think of France, you think of Paris, people go there, why? Because of that culture, that experience they have. We want to make sure we're doing that in South Florida. So please stay engaged. And Miramar, Commissioner Davis, great job. Thank you.